all that has to be covered in a CV. But why two words? What is the difference then between a CV and a resume? We need to know that. But before I tell that, I also need to tell you what is the pronunciation and what exactly is the pronunciation. I have pronounced this word resume as resume. In English, this is also pronounced as, the same spelling is also pronounced as resume. But that is a verb and it means to start again. We are not here talking about I have resumed my duty today. We are talking about a noun, that is a resume. So you have to be careful when you actually pronounce the term resume. Now, what exactly is the difference between CV and resume? CV basically is for the fresh graduates, those who are applying on the basis of the educational background or the scholastic record which they have, the degrees which they have acquired, whereas resume is mostly for the professionals who have been in service for quite a long period of time, and now their professional experience has gained more importance than their educational record. So this is the basic difference. Otherwise it is almost the same. The things are the same, the features are the same, but only thing is in CV more focus is on educational record or the scholastic record, whereas in resume focus is on the professional experience. Now, what exactly is a CV or a resume? Just as I discussed what is a cover letter, let me discuss in detail the second part, that is the CV or the resume. I call this CV a document of your record, a record which shows how you have progressed. It outlines in detail your growth. So it is a document. But when we talk about a document, you should not feel that it has to be a kind of a book. It has to be concised in 2-3 pages only. You have to summarize. You have to present every information, every important piece of information in a small, concise manner, and it should give a better look. The second important point is, it is nothing, a CV is nothing but a summary of your job experience and your education. So whatever you have done and what is relevant for that job should not be missed out. What you did in your 2nd standard or what you did in your 5th standard or in your 9th standard, that does not matter at all. What matters is what qualification is suitable for the job. So when you have to concise your CV, remember to select and segregate the best information which is suitable for that particular job. The third important point is that it is detailed. It is a detailed information about you. You know it, what is good for you. So present that. It is nothing but the details of the job seeker. And finally, a CV is used to shortlist the applicants. So a CV should have something, a potential to attract the prospective employer. So if we put all these points together, we get a proper definition of a CV or a resume. A CV, if defined, would be defined like this. It is a document which summarizes the relevant job experience and education, and presents the details of the job seeker, which is used by the prospective employer to shortlist the applicants. I hope this is a little clear. Then comes to what exactly are the characteristic features of a CV or a resume. First important point, very, very important point is it has to be properly arranged. The facts are there before you, the figures are there before you, but unless and until you know how to separate it, how to arrange it, it is not going to carry any meaning. It has to be properly arranged. The information has to be separated under different headings. So, very important is arrangement part of it. Secondly, it has to be very systematic. You can't beat about the bush. You have to systematize. Systematize meaning that if you are talking about your education, focus only on education. Don't mix and match. Secondly, if you are talking about job experience, talk only about your job experience. That is, write only about your job experience. Then if you are talking about your personal profile, write only about your personal profile. So it has to be very systematic. And next point is, again this applies here, it has to be short but comprehensive. This sounds like a paradox, but it is true. Sometimes you have a lot many things to say, but that does not mean that you have to say everything. You have to select what is good, what is the best, and write that in a summarized form. I am repeating it again, and it sounds as a warning also that in the haste to be brief and to be short, important points should never be missed. So it has to be comprehensive as well. And lastly, a very important point, well presented. Well presented CV means well formatted CV. The headings has to be in proper font size, and if you have selected, for example, the font size of 16, maintain it throughout. Uniformity is very, very important. And if for the content part you have used the font size as 12, which is generally used, maintain it throughout. If you are using a bullet point, maintain those bullet points throughout. The margins which you give, if it is a 1-inch margin, it has to be from all sides. So it has to be well presented. When a person looks at it, he should feel happy about it. Otherwise, why would he select you? And all the information is there, but it has to be presented nicely. So arrangement is important, systematization is important, brevity is important, and lastly, presentation is also important. Now, when we know all this, when we know what a cover letter is, when we know what a CV is, what would make us different? I previously said that winners don't do different things, they do things differently. So now we would discuss what difference could you bring into your CV. Let's take a look. Generally, a CV is divided into two parts, a title and headings. And title generally is nothing but a letterhead. So how do you prepare the title? Have a closer look at the monitor and you will be able to see how the title can be prepared. But please remember, this is just one sample. You can put your creativity and imagination to use and make the way you like it, but this is just one way of making the title of CV. For example, if there is a girl whose name is Archana Joshi, she can centrally align her first name and last name. Then she can move to the designation. She can leave a few spaces from the central alignment and put the designation on which she is already working. Then third, she can also put in the degrees which she has. Then the place where she is working. The contact details below that can be added. And finally, you can also add your photograph to give a nice look to your CV and give a personal touch to the CV. And then this title can be separated from the headings with the help of a single straight line. This is just one way of designing the title of the CV. You can shift the title to the right side, you can shift the title to the left side, you can place the photograph on the left side or to the right side. The choice is yours, but this is just one way and which looks good. So you can centrally align everything and start the title. Then comes the headings, under which you have to put the information or the content part. The first part is the personal profile. What do you have in a personal profile is nothing but your age, your marital status, your address. It could be written here also, but height if the job requires, passport details if the job requires, all that can be put under personal profile. But in resumes, generally personal profile comes at the end. In CVs, it is generally the first heading, but in resumes, it is generally the last heading. The second point which could be taken, or second heading which can be taken under CV, is your career objective, but it is optional. If you clearly want to state what your aim is behind entering into this job, you can state under the heading career objective. Then the third heading could be educational qualification. Write the degree which you have acquired or got, the year in which you passed, the place from which you got the degree, the percentage which you have, the marks which you have got. So all this are there in educational qualification. You also have a lot many things to put under employment history. You can write the job experience is nothing but the employment history. Skills is the professional courses which you have done, maybe CCC plus, Tally, all that comes under skills. Achievements are the rewards or the recognitions which you have got. And finally, you can also write your hobbies or your interest. So make a difference. Remember to put all this information in a reverse chronological order. The latest trend is not to write the first degree first and the last degree last. The latest trend is to put the last degree first and the first degree last. That is, if you have done MCom last, you have to start with MCom and then move on to SSC. And lastly, some effective tips before I close down. One is, write yourself. Rule number 1. You are the best judge of yourself, so write it yourself. Rule number 2 is, make it simple. Rule number 3 is, get your language and facts right. And rule number 4 is related to presentation, that maintain uniformity. You have to maintain a uniformity throughout. Be very careful about it. And lastly, don't be in a hurry to send it. Pay attention to the finishing touches. Take a printout, see whether everything is right, and then only send it. These are some of the templates which you can see. First template, the title is on the left hand side in one color and the heading is on the right hand side. Headings are on the right hand side. This is template 2, where the title has been changed by using a different background color, white and light brown. Headings are under light brown. The third is something like this, where they have separated headings and title with the use of shapes. So you can put your creativity and imaginativeness to use. And the final word, my friends. CV is the document. It is your document. So prepare it yourself. Work hard for it. Prepare well. And there are only 3 P's of success: plan, prepare, and present. It is well said, if you fail to prepare, be prepared to fail. Signing off with a smile and hoping that these tips will be useful to you and you will move on with to a greater height and achieve success. Thank you, my friends, and keep revisiting your CV, because if you don't do that, you are missing an important fact of your life. Life is nothing but it's a long learning process, and after every 3 months something should be added to your CVs. So thank you for now, and signing off. Thank you.
SANDHAN, All Gujarat Integrated Classroom.
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.